Official agency records. Unaltered visual proof. Transparent enforcement. This is bodycam incident reports.
Hands on the wall. You don't belong back here.
I'm the night operations manager. This is my workplace.
No ID, back alley, expensive gear? Sounds like burglary.
Check the cameras. Call the front desk. You're making a mistake.
Save it. You're being detained.
The body camera on Officer Derek Reynolds' chest was recording in 4K resolution. It captured the steam rising from the heated vents of the hotel's side entrance. It captured the pristine, polished marble of the service corridor. It captured the look of absolute disbelief and controlled terror on the face of the man standing by the employee entrance. He wasn't running. He wasn't prying open a window. He wasn't holding a weapon. He was holding an iPad Pro and a radio handset. He was Marcus Sterling, 28 years old, the youngest night operations manager in the history of the Grand Olympian Hotel in downtown Chicago. He was a man who had just spent the last 6 hours coordinating the arrival of a foreign diplomat and managing a plumbing crisis on the 40th floor. And now he was about to be handcuffed against the brick wall of the building he managed for the crime of working while black. Before we dive deep into this story, drop a comment below and tell me where you're watching from. And if you believe that a man shouldn't be treated like a criminal at his own workplace just because of the color of his skin, hit that subscribe button right now. This body camera footage is going to make your blood boil. Marcus Sterling had worked at the Grand Olympian for 5 years. It was one of those historic architectural marvels in the loop gold leaf ceilings, velvet ropes, and a guest list that read like a who's who of global politics and Hollywood royalty. It was a place where discretion was currency and perfection was the baseline. Marcus had started as a bellhop. He had carried luggage until his back ached, smiling at guests who didn't look him in the eye. He used his tuition reimbursement to get a degree in hospitality management from Cornell, studying online until his eyes blurred writing papers in the break room at 4 a.m. He had moved to the front desk, then to concierge, and finally, after a grueling interview process where he beat out candidates with twice his experience, he was promoted to night operations manager. It was a prestigious role. Marcus was responsible for the entire property from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. He held the master keys. He had the authority to comp rooms, call engineering, and yes, interact with law enforcement. He was the face of the hotel when the city slept. He took immense pride in his appearance: a tailored navy suit, a crisp white shirt, a silk tie, and a gold name tag that read Marcus Sterling, manager. That Wednesday morning, the hotel was at 90% occupancy. There was a high-security delegation from Europe staying on the penthouse floor. Because of the VIP guests, Marcus was extra vigilant. He was doing a physical sweep of the perimeter, checking that the side exits were secure and that the valet lane was clear. He had stepped out of the side service door, the one used by staff and deliveries, to check the magnetic lock. He was tapping a note into his tablet regarding a flickering light bulb in the alleyway. Officer Derek Reynolds was cruising down the alley. Reynolds was a 15-year veteran of the force, a man with a thick file of use of force complaints that had all been ruled within policy. He was known in the precinct as a guy who produced numbers. He made arrests. He found trouble. And on this night, he saw a black man in a suit standing in a dark alley behind a luxury hotel holding expensive electronics. To Reynolds, Marcus didn't look like a manager. He didn't look like an employee. In Reynolds' worldview, formulated over years of unchecked bias, Marcus looked like a lookout, or a con artist, or a thief who had just raided a guest room. Reynolds hit the lights. He didn't use the siren, just the blinding takedown lights that washed the alley in harsh white illumination. He stepped out of the SUV, hand already resting on his holster. "Hey, you stay right there." Marcus blinked against the glare. He held up a hand to shield his eyes. "Officer, can I help you?" "I said stay there. What are you doing back here?" "I'm checking the magnetic locks on the service doors. I'm the manager on duty." "Manager, right. And I'm the mayor of Chicago. Let's see some ID." Marcus lowered his hand. "My ID is in my office inside. I have my name tag right here, and I have the master key fob for the building." "So you have no ID, you're in a back alley at 3 a.m., you have no identification, and you claim to have a master key. That sounds like burglary tools to me." "Officer, look at me. I am wearing the hotel uniform. This is a 3-piece suit. I am holding a company tablet. If you walk with me to the front desk just around the corner, my staff can verify who I am. I'm not walking you anywhere until I know you're not armed. Turn around, hands on the wall. Officer, this is unnecessary. I am the night manager. I am asking you to lower your voice because we have guests sleeping on the second floor. You don't give orders here. I do. Turn around or I will make you turn around. Marcus felt that cold, sinking sensation in his gut. The realization that logic wasn't going to work. That his degree, his title, his tailored suit, none of it mattered. He was just a body to be subdued. I am complying, Marcus said, his voice trembling slightly but remaining professional. He turned slowly, placing the tablet on the ground and putting his hands against the cold brick. I am placing my hands on the wall. I am not resisting. Spread your feet, wider. Reynolds kicked Marcus's ankles apart. Rough, aggressive. He patted Marcus down, his hands heavy and invasive. He felt the radio on Marcus's belt. What's this? It's my hotel radio, to communicate with security and housekeeping. Uh-huh. Reynolds yanked the radio off Marcus's belt and tossed it to the ground. It skittered across the asphalt, the plastic cracking. Officer, that is company property. It's evidence. Now keep your mouth shut. Reynolds grabbed Marcus's wrists and pulled them behind his back. The sound of ratcheting steel cut through the night air. The handcuffs clicked tight. Too tight. You are making a mistake, Marcus said, his forehead pressed against the brick. My general manager lives in the building. Security is watching us on camera right now. You are arresting the person in charge of this property. You're not in charge of anything right now, pal. You're a suspect in a burglary investigation. We've had reports of high-end thefts in the area, guys dressing up to blend in. You fit the profile. What profile? A black man in a suit. Is that the profile? Watch your mouth. You're detaining a suspect who is being uncooperative. That's obstruction. Have you ever been accused of stealing at your own job? Have you ever had your hard-earned status stripped away in seconds? Type yes or no in the comments. Win. Reynolds keyed his radio. Dispatch, this is Unit 4 Alpha. I have one male black in custody behind the Grand Olympian. Suspected burglary, no ID, uncooperative. Send a transport wagon. Officer, please, Marcus pleaded, trying to twist his head to see Reynolds. Check the tablet. Unlock it. The passcode is 1985. It opens the hotel security grid. It has my email logged in. Marcus Sterling at Grand Olympian.com. Just check it. I'm not touching your device without a warrant. It's going into evidence. At that moment, the service door burst open. Marcus, are you out here? The front desk said you weren't answering your radio. It was Sarah, the night auditor, a 22-year-old college student with bright red hair. She froze when she saw the scene. Her boss, the man who had just approved her vacation request 2 hours ago, was handcuffed against the wall. A police officer was holding him by the collar. Oh my God, Marcus, officer, what are you doing? Reynolds spun around. Ma'am, step back. This is an active crime scene. Do you know this individual? Know him? He's my boss. That's Marcus. He's the night manager. Reynolds paused. He looked at Sarah. Then he looked at Marcus. He says he's the manager. He's been the manager for years. Why is he in handcuffs? He refused to show ID. He was loitering in the alley. He was doing a perimeter check. He does it every night at 3 a.m. Let him go. Marcus took a breath. Sarah, call Mrs. Vance. Wake her up. Tell her the police are arresting me in the loading dock. Then call corporate security. Do it now. Okay. Sarah turned and ran back inside. Reynolds looked at Marcus. The doubt was starting to creep in. But Reynolds was a man who hated to be wrong, and he hated even more to admit he was wrong to a suspect. She could be in on it, Reynolds muttered. Internal job. Happens all the time. Officer, Marcus said, his voice icy now. You have about 3 minutes before the general manager of this hotel comes through those doors. She is a personal friend of the police superintendent. If I am still in these handcuffs when she arrives, this is going to be the end of your career. Are you threatening a police officer? I am stating a fact. You have failed to verify my identity. You have destroyed hotel property. You have unlawfully detained the legal representative of this business on private property. You are trespassing. This is a public alley. You are standing on the loading dock ramp. That is deeded private property. You are trespassing. Reynolds tightened his grip on Marcus's arm. We'll see about that. You're going downtown. We'll sort out who you are when we get fingerprints. Reynolds began to drag Marcus toward the squad car. Marcus stumbled, his polished dress shoes slipping on the oil-stained concrete. I am not resisting, Marcus shouted for the camera. I am walking with you. You are hurting my shoulder. Stop fighting me then. I am not fighting. They reached the car. Reynolds shoved Marcus against the hood. He opened the back door. Get in. Officer Reynolds. The voice boomed across the alley. It wasn't Sarah. It was deep, authoritative, and furious. Reynolds turned. Standing in the doorway was David Thorne, no relation the hotel's head of security. David was 6'4", as a retired Marine and the former deputy chief of police for a neighboring county. He was wearing his tactical vest and he looked ready for war. Officer, step away from Mr. Sterling immediately. Who are you? Reynolds challenged, though his hand drifted away from Marcus's neck. I am the director of security for the Grand Olympian. I am a retired deputy chief. And you are making the biggest mistake of your life. That man is the night manager. Uncuff him, now. Reynolds hesitated. He refused to identify himself. He was suspicious. He's wearing a name tag. He is in a 3-piece suit. He is on hotel property. Uncuff him. I need to run his name. He could have warrants. David Thorne marched down the ramp. He moved with a speed that belied his size. He got right in Reynolds' face. The only warrant happening tonight is the one I'm going to have sworn out for your badge if you don't take those bracelets off him in 5 seconds. I have watched the surveillance feed. You pulled up, you harassed him, you destroyed his radio, and you arrested him without probable cause. We have guests, diplomats sleeping upstairs. If you drag my manager away, you are creating an international incident. Reynolds looked at David. He looked at the trembling Marcus. He looked at the flashing red light of his own body camera. He realized he had no cover, no suspicious movement, no weapon, just his own bias caught in 4K. He was uncooperative, Reynolds grumbled, pulling out his key. I was just doing my job. Your job is to protect property, not harass the people who manage it. Reynolds unlocked the cuffs. Marcus pulled his hands free, rubbing his wrists. There were deep red welts where the metal had dug in. He straightened his tie. He brushed the dust off his suit jacket. He picked up his tablet from the ground. The screen was cracked. He looked at Reynolds. The fear was gone, replaced by a cold, simmering rage. Officer Reynolds, Marcus said, his voice steady. I want your badge number. I want your supervisor's name. And I want you off this property immediately. I was investigating a call. There was no call, Marcus said. I monitor the police scanner in my office. There was no dispatch to this address. You were fishing, you saw a black man, and you wanted a collar. Reynolds got back in his car without another word. He slammed the door and sped off, tires screeching. David put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Are you okay, son? Marcus looked at the cracked tablet. He looked at the broken radio on the ground. He looked at his wrists. No, David, I'm not okay. I'm really not okay. The next morning, Marcus didn't go home. He sat in the general manager's office. Mrs. Eleanor Vance, a formidable woman in her 60s, listened to the story in silence. Then she watched the security footage. Then she called the hotel's legal team. We are going to destroy him, she said simply. But Marcus wanted more than that. He didn't just want the hotel to sue. He wanted to sue personally. He hired a civil rights attorney, a woman named Patricia Caldwell, who specialized in police misconduct. They filed the lawsuit 3 weeks later, Sterling v. the City of Chicago. It alleged unlawful arrest, excessive force, racial profiling, and violation of Fourth Amendment rights. The city attorney's office tried to dismiss it. They claimed qualified immunity. They claimed Officer Reynolds acted in good faith, based on reasonable suspicion. Then the discovery phase began. Patricia Caldwell subpoenaed Officer Reynolds' entire disciplinary history. What they found was a pattern so clear it looked like a script. Over his 15-year career, Reynolds had stopped 400 people for suspicious loitering. 85% of them were black men. 90% of those stops resulted in no charges, just detention, harassment, and release. He had a habit of patrolling wealthy areas and stopping black delivery drivers, black real estate agents, and now a black hotel manager. But the smoking gun was the body camera footage from that night. In the audio before he exited the car, Reynolds could be heard muttering to himself. The camera had a 30-second buffer that recorded audio before activation. "Look at this guy," Reynolds' voice said on the tape. "Think he owns the place, probably dealing to the guests. Let's shake him down. Let's shake him down." It wasn't a suspicion of burglary. It was a predatory desire to humble a black man who looked too successful. When the deposition came, Reynolds was arrogant. He sat across from Marcus and Patricia Caldwell, arms crossed. "I have an instinct," Reynolds said. "I know when something doesn't look right." "And Mr. Sterling didn't look right to you?" Patricia asked. "No, he looked out of place." "Why? Because he was wearing a $500 suit, or because he was black?" "Because he was in an alley." "An alley where he worked. Do you stop white managers in alleys if they look suspicious?" "We pulled your records, officer. In 15 years, you have never stopped a white male for loitering in a commercial district." "Not once." "Are we to believe that white men never stand in alleys?" Reynolds stayed silent. The footage was leaked to the press. The headlines were scathing. "The manager in cuffs Chicago cop profiles hotel executive." The video went viral. 20 million views in a week. The image of Marcus, impeccably dressed, being shoved against the dirty brick wall, juxtaposed with the image of Reynolds screaming at him, became a symbol of the professional divide. The idea that no matter how high a black person climbs the corporate ladder, they are one traffic stop away from being treated like a criminal. Demonstrators gathered outside the Grand Olympian, not to protest the hotel, but to support Marcus. The hotel staff joined them. Mrs. Vance, the general manager, stood on the front steps with a microphone. "Marcus Sterling is the future of this industry," she told the crowd. "He is a man of integrity, and the way he was treated is an indictment of our entire policing system." The pressure on the city was immense. The hospitality union threatened to strike if the police department didn't guarantee the safety of their night staff. The tourism board panicked. 6 months after the incident, the city of Chicago offered a settlement. They wanted to pay $300,000 and have Marcus sign a non-disclosure agreement. Marcus refused. "This isn't about money," he told his lawyer. "He broke my radio. He bruised my wrists, but he tried to break my dignity. I want a trial." The city panicked. A public trial would expose not just Reynolds, but the precinct commanders who signed off on his behavior for years. They came back with a new offer, $2.5 million, an admission of wrongdoing, and a mandatory change in policy regarding Terry stops on private commercial property. Marcus accepted. But he had one condition that wasn't monetary. He wanted a face-to-face meeting with the police superintendent. In that meeting, Marcus laid out a plan. He used his hospitality training. He proposed a training program for officers, not just bias training, but community immersion. He wanted officers to walk the beats with business owners to learn who belonged, to understand the ecosystem of the neighborhoods they patrolled. Officer Reynolds was fired, not allowed to resign fired. He lost his pension. He was charged criminally with official misconduct and battery. He pled guilty to a lesser charge to avoid jail time, but he would never carry a badge or a gun again. Marcus Sterling used the settlement money to buy a building. He didn't buy a house. He bought a dilapidated historic hotel on the south side. He renovated it. He turned it into a boutique hotel that doubled as a training academy for inner-city youth who wanted to enter the hospitality industry. He named it the Sterling House. Today, if you walk into the Sterling House, you'll see a framed photo in the lobby. It's not of Marcus. It's of the cracked tablet and the broken radio. Marcus tells his students, "You can wear the suit. You can speak the language. You can have the title. But never forget that to some people you are still a threat. And when they come for you, and they might, you must be ready. Not with violence, but with the truth. Document everything. Know your rights. And never, ever let them convince you that you don't belong where you are standing." The story of Marcus Sterling is a reminder that prejudice doesn't care about your resume. It doesn't check your LinkedIn profile before it puts you in handcuffs. It sees color first and humanity second. But it is also a story about the power of evidence, about the importance of standing your ground when you know you are right. Marcus could have let it go. He could have taken the apology and the hush money, but he chose to fight, because he knew that the next night there might be another young black man in a suit checking a door, doing his job, just waiting for the lights to flash. And maybe, just maybe because of Marcus, that officer might think twice before reaching for his handcuffs. What do you think about the settlement? Was $2.5 million enough for the humiliation he endured? Should Officer Reynolds have gone to jail? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, stay safe, know your rights, and look out for each other. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of justice served.
This briefing is now complete. For more factual case reviews, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Bodycam Incident Reports.